Hello there everybody, this is Krista and welcome back to PreRaphaelite Tarot and another turn of the wheel, so to speak. Sorry Stevie, go ahead. She was trying to get up on her ledge and I was so rudely blocking her way. Ooh, ooh, shadow. Okay, another turn of the wheel. So yesterday was the summer solstice, and if you have been here, it'll be no surprise that I work with my decks pretty seasonally. You know, bar... I was gonna say a few. It's not really a few, but it is. Why do I only have 9 minutes left on this? What did I have filmed on here? Hold on, gotta check that out. Okay, fixed it. Never deleted my last video off that memory card, so. Because, you know, 9 minutes was just, it was not gonna cut it. Not with what I got going on here. So anyway, I work with my decks very seasonally, so I get very excited when there is a change in the season, a solstice, or, well, I can't say that word very well. Solstice. I always say solstice. No, that's right. I don't know. Anyway, weird. Equinox. That kind of time. Because it means a shifting in energy, a shifting around in what I want my decks to be doing, because I work with them so seasonally. It makes sense to me. I want them to reflect my outside world. Otherwise, nothing's right. So, I wanted to just kind of hang out today and show you the decks I am excited to pull back out for summer. So, I feel like as I always say, I will not exclusively be using these decks, nor do I exclusively use these decks in the summer. It's more just like, for the most part, I've noticed that I pull them out in the summer. Just realized I'm missing one. Hold the phone. Okay. Okay, yeah. Should we start with this? Why don't we? The Dreams of Gaia Tarot. So, the common thread you will absolutely see with these decks is just more color. Now, I am not... Zoom her in. I am not someone to shy away from color to begin with, but I do notice that during the fall and winter season, it just... my general day-to-day use of the cards isn't going to be as colorful, because it doesn't make sense to me for that time of the year. But in the spring and summer, the spring, I kind of find I lean towards decks that have those lighter colors, a bit more muted, almost like really that coming to life energy, where with my summer decks, I want things to be bold and vibrant, just like it looks outside. Things are blooming and happening and growing. I don't know. Vegetables are starting. There's blossoms on things. It's so exciting. And I really feel like this deck captures that energy. All these colors just feel so summery to me. I really like my decks to have, of course, a very earthy energy, but the summer I feel like really brings in that mixture of fire and water too, which I always find so fascinating. I do not live by the water, so that's not really something I totally connect to, so I tend to have very like earthy but also fiery decks in the summer. But I do think the wateriness is interesting to play with. So that is the Dreams of Gaia Tarot. Okay, next, the Gardens and Goblins Tarot. I feel like I've been showing this a lot recently, but I mean, it makes sense. Gardens, that is pretty much what is taking up my whole mind space right now. I love it so much. It's bringing me endless amounts of joy. Absolutely endless amounts of joy. And now it's like we're at that part of the season where it's starting to look like this. Like we've got flowers and plentiful herbs and vegetables are starting, and it's just, it's so exciting. And I really feel like, I don't know, this deck really just, it really reminds me of my garden. And I like to think that these little goblin-y creatures are actually walking around out there. I think they are. Because why not? Why wouldn't they be? They're invited, they're welcome. So yes, very excited. I've been really having a moment with this deck, but I feel like even more so it's going to be out to play during the summer. So that is the Garden and Goblins Tarot. Now this next one is a newer one to me, and I also haven't played around with it too much. It is the Story Medicine Tarot Green Edition Seaweed Sisters. But this deck is really cool. The decks are the cards are very large. Now I do think that these decks are decently expensive, I want to say. I'm not positive. I've honestly never really looked on the website or anything for this. I got this used from someone on Instagram who, I don't know, gave a really good price on it. I don't know if it's a good price or not because I've not looked, but I've been curious about this and I really love seeing all of the different editions people have. This is one that I hadn't really seen though, the seaweed one, and so for the price it was being sold for, I just figured let's check it out. I want to see what this is about. And I'm really impressed so far. I find this to be a bit more usable as an oracle. You get a whole message right on the bottom. But each edition of this deck is designed to kind of represent something different. So the Seaweed Sisters is all about hair, I want to say. Each Intimate Seaweed Sisters card is a shape-shifting ceremony inside Kelp Mama, mystically moving waters, flowing, cleansing, clearing, and remembering us. Home to our unique oneness with the earth and cosmos through our personal myth of now. So neat! Really cool, isn't that? And I love the artwork. I just really like the energy of this deck because I think it really combines that green, earthy energy I'm looking for in the summer, but brings in that element of water, since it's, you know, seaweed, that I often am lacking just generally. So, that is the Story Medicine Seaweed Sisters. Now, I actually paired this deck, I don't know if it was this morning, very recently, with this next one. It is the Little Bug Oracle by Joanna Nelson. Oh my gosh, it is no secret that I am a Joanna Nelson fan. But this oracle specifically feels summery to me. I think because it's little bugs. And to me, I'm like, well, little bugs, they come out in the summer. But then it's the color palette as well. Even though I will use her tarots I have year-round, I've noticed that the Little Bug Oracle... Have I even had that long, though? Gosh, no, this hasn't been out that long. I guess I should say that I feel like the feeling for me has been this is really going to get its moment in the summer. And I already have used it a bunch. And I love it so much. I copied Lisa Papez's mod on this to add little keywords on the cards. Really enjoying that as well. I find I still look in the guidebook. I don't know. I'm a guidebook lover. I love reading guidebooks. If I'm reading for myself, I almost will never not read the guidebook. I just love them. It's where I get my reading in, you know? Because it's not happening anywhere else. So, you know, keeping the brain fresh. Anyway, that is the Little Bug Oracle. I mean, look at that with the fire. Come on. Ooh, weird like bugception happening there though, because there's these like personified bug people hanging out with bugs. That just occurred to me. Interesting. That makes me wonder, what is the Little Bug Society like? What makes you have legs and personality? Or personification, I should say. It's the whole thing, like how Goofy and Pluto are both dogs. Like, fishy business. I don't know. Anyway, that's besides the point. The Little Bug Oracle. Next up, keeping on the garden theme, Field Guide to Garden Dragons. I love this deck. I love this deck so much. So much! And now it's its time, baby, you know? Because the garden is alive in a way that makes sense to these dragons. And I have been loving using this. It's so whimsical and fun, but the messages you get, oh my gosh, they have been spot on every single time. It just really, I don't know, it's just a deck that really surprised me in the best way. I totally underestimated it. So sorry, deck. Didn't mean to. I mean, I guess I did mean to. I shouldn't say I didn't mean to. Just gotta apologize. But I've really been liking it. And it's fun to look through here and be like, ooh, like, what am I growing in my garden? Look at the mushroom dragon. So good. I don't know. Just really liking that one. Field Guide to the Garden Dragons. I feel like this whole video is just gonna be me saying, I just like it. It's here because I like it. Why would I own it otherwise? That's the question of the day. All right, next up on the roster, Terra Avatara. This one, it's the fiery energy. That creative fire that I feel like is so alive for me in the summer. And I just think, like, I think Gabby Angus West's art just kind of naturally has such a fiery feel to it for me. I mean, that's probably what she's going for, because, I don't know, seems to be a theme. The bone fire. I have her new oracle as well, or like, you know, the reprint of her oracle. And that also, it's this, again, combination of fire and water that I really have been enjoying. I kind of find that sometimes working with that real watery energy is very intimidating to me, because I am not a very watery person. Again, like I continually mention for some reason, I don't live near water, like ocean water, I should say. There's streams and lakes and such, but you know, and so it's just not an energy I connect to. So I find it to be so approachable when I find decks that kind of just bring in that water alongside another element, like the Seaweed Sisters with their earth, and this feels like fire and water. I've been pulling so many readings lately that really have intense fire and water energy to it. So it's been something I've been exploring, and so now that I've got this deck pulled out, I'm feeling like, ooh, I should use this deck to kind of explore that just general theme going on. But I really love this one. The cardstock is gorgeous. I love kind of getting to look at tarot through the lens of Frida Kahlo's life. Yeah, I feel like there's not that much more to say there. It's a great deck. Terra Avatara. I'm really excited for the Bonefire to be getting a, seems like it's getting a bit of a revamp in the mass market. Not sure the details on that. I feel like the consensus is that it's smaller, question mark? I don't know. But I'm excited because I like that deck. It just is like, it was too unwieldy for me. All right. The Gentle Tarot in the cutest little bag possible. This really, like if someone said to me, like, what's your one summer deck off the top of your head, go, it'd be Gentle Tarot. It just really has such a summer vibe to me. I think because we have just a lot of naked bodies in here. Naked bodies and nature, and in my brain I'm like, well, you can't be naked in nature unless it's warm out. Otherwise, that's irresponsible. Like, we do get other seasons in here, but it's the color palette, all the growth going on. It really has that, like, self-care growth theme to it. So to me, it's a deck that comes out in the summer. Look at that card. I really love this one. I love the extended guidebook. It's really Just a nice deck, and really helpful. I always get something really good out of this deck when I use it. And I love, this is the linen edition. I do love this one. I still have my full-size one. It's kind of just on display right now. And this is my working deck, and I edged it in all different colors to match the colors on the front. Love it! Okay, so that's the Gentle Tarot. Very sorry if it seems like I'm speeding through this. I've got quite the pile of decks to show you today. I got real excited about this. So next, the PreRaphaelite Tarot. I love this one. This deck to me has such a romantic feel to it, but it also, it feels like that real beginning of afternoon summer haze, when like you hear the cicadas and everything is like a little bit almost blurry because the sun is so bright. That's what this imagery feels like to me. And it's got these real rich colors that just make me think of summer. And it's got, again, like, it feels kind of fiery to me, but also earthy. I don't know. I really like this one. I love also just the size and shape of the Los Scarabeo decks. I don't even know if well, no, that's a lie. I'm sure I have quite a few. I just can't think of them. But this is probably one of my favorites. I really, really like this one. It's a good, straightforward reader that feels summery to me. Look at the backs. The backs are gorgeous. So that is the PreRaphaelite Tarot. Alright. Next, we're back on the bugs. This is the Insecta Obscura Tarot from Faina Laura. This is a really cool square shape. And it is all themed around bugs. So each card is its own bug. And what I do love is you get this little guidebook with it that does tell you what the... Oh, sorry. It tells you what the bug is right on the card, but it tells you more about the bug, which I really love. And I do love that you get the bug name right on the bottom. I'm not super knowledgeable on insects. I'd like to be. And I feel like this deck is a good way to start, because there's not really insect decks around, you know? And I'm a huge fan of Faina Laura's work. She really does have such like a... like spooky kind of style, like very vintage Victorian era that I really love. So this is one that I feel like definitely works also in fall and winter because of the art style, but the subject matter makes me think of summer, and it almost feels like a summer nights deck. Like as soon as it's dark out, the bugs come out to play kind of thing, which I really like the idea of now that I said that out loud. But yeah, this is one I've had it for quite some time, but just haven't really played with it much yet. So I really need to leave this one out because it's really interesting. I love the cardstock she prints on too. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I do really like it. Okay, mildly interrupted. That's okay. Anyway, next up, we've got the Crimson Hysteria. This deck is undeniably fiery because, come on, look at that. Ooh, ooh, shiny. I don't know. Anyways, I really like this one because it's just a little weird, and by a little I mean a lot, but in the best way possible, in the most complimentary fangirl way possible. I love it, and I love the guidebook. I love every single thing about this deck, and do I have any way to expand upon that statement? No, I don't. I won't and I shan't expand upon that because I don't know. Descriptors are hard. But this is my weird little summer deck. But it's not little at all. It is a bit of an oversized deck, but I seriously love it so much. The edging is beautiful. It just feels luxurious. We get this extra Medusa card that is everything. And again, I really love the guidebook. It just gives me such amazing readings. There's something about this art. I'm so excited about the Terra Avatara reprints. I have that backed on Kickstarter. And it'll be so fun because this deck really does feel like that summer energy to me. And I feel like the Terra Avatara is definitely going to fill that kind of like fall, winter. I love having decks by the same artist when I mean, for the most part, I feel like I could put almost every deck I own into a seasonal category. There's just some that feel definitely ambiguous to me. But I love having two different decks by the same creator that feel like they kind of each fill its own space in that way. Like, do I have an example? That would be good. Oh, like, to me, Oak, Ash, and Thorn is fall, winter, and then Smoke, Ash, and Embers is spring, summer. So I get to have the Three Trees Tarot all year round. Because that's just how it makes sense to me. I had something the other day that I spotted with my decks that... the Illuminated Earth by Claire Mack is definitely fall, winter to me, and then Faceted Garden, spring, summer. I just love that. There's something about that I just love. Alright, next up we've got the Desert Illuminations Tarot. This is another one I think I got used. I definitely did. And I have just not really used it since getting it. I think because it's this really bright, fun color palette that is just, I feel like it just needed to wait until summer for me. But I love this one. It's just so funky and fun. And I really do, I love this Temperance card. I really love it. I'm really excited to get to know this one this summer. You always gotta have the funky deck, you know? And this is mine for sure. And I love cowboys. Sometimes you're just in a Wild West kind of mood, you know? So the library's getting redone. I promise this is a short story. So the library's getting redone. So my office is not. But the door got taken off. It was broken. You know how that goes. Can't have a broken door. Doesn't work. So they took the door off, and I am trying so hard to convince them to let me put saloon doors on instead of a real door, because I don't want a real door. I am never going to keep it closed. I don't know. Feels weird to me, just in the environment I'm in, because there's children, and I love to talk to them, and they love to come see me when I'm sitting at my desk, and so I can't close the door. But if I have saloon doors, they will serve no purpose, but they will be fun. And that's what I have on that. I just think it would be a great time. No one seems convinced yet, but we're trying. We're trying. So that is the Desert Illuminations deck. I am really excited about this one. Oh, this whole pile, it's just, I feel like these bright colors are such a good mood too. Like, I just am really getting in a good mood right now. If you couldn't tell, based on just, I don't know, the chaos. Messages from the Mermaids. I love this one. So this is one that I got for our vacation in April, and it probably by far was my favorite watery deck I bought for that. It just really, really impressed me. I had never been interested in mermaids before, but this totally sparked an interest in mermaids, and so it's actually kind of an energy, that mermaid siren energy is something I've been really exploring. kind of off and on, but I think as summer comes around, it's Jason Momoa. Right? Anyway, I think as we get more into summer like we are now, we're just going to be full swing into that energy. Have the myths and mermaids to play with too. That will be fun. But I really love this one. I think the keywords are so great. The guidebook is so good. I really, really like it. I love the Karen K decks. I have her fairy one too that I just really have been loving. So that is the messages from the mermaids. Next up we have the Gaian Tarot. And like, even the bag, come on, the bag is so summery. I love this yarn my sister made. But now this is one that I really do. Ooh, we're starting on everyone's favorite. Don't we all have feelings on this card? I'll take a moment. It's okay. Have your moment. Anyway, I love this Fool card. This is one that I really do. I like using this all the time. It really is one of my favorite tarots, but I mean, undeniable summer energy here. So much growth happening. Look at this. I love how we have things that come into the borders. It just really brings it to life. This deck feels so full of life. So this hasn't come out to play recently because I actually find that if I'm feeling kind of like a little burnt out, like socially burnt out, I can't really use this deck because it actually feels like it's got so many voices going on that it gets overwhelming when I'm already feeling that way. But look at that Three of Earth. In general, it's so amazing. It's so amazing. Ooh, I get excited every time I pull this one out. Look at, I mean, is that not the best? Look at the little fern. Not uncoiled yet. The baby deer. Oh, so good. So good. I'm gonna leave this, I'm gonna leave all these out. I feel like I'm making a huge mess, but I'm just gonna leave them out so I can play. Because that's the best part, right? When we can play. So that is the Gaian Tarot. And next, the Tarot de St. Croix. This is an all-the-time favorite. I use this a lot for deity work. And just sort of general, like, more spiritual feeling readings in that way. But I have this in this pile because I'm really interested to try using it as like an everyday reader. And if I was going to put it in a season, it is summer because it's got all these reds and oranges and yellows, and it's got this real fiery energy that I really like. But when you get into the guidebook, it brings it to this like very much like third eye kind of crown chakra space, I feel like. Oh my gosh, look at me using chakra terms. Okay. Learning new things. Oh, but this is such a favorite. I love this deck so endlessly much. It's so good. And this slot also includes the Goddess deck of hers that I have, because that one also feels very summery because of the colors. And that's another one I'm really interested to try using in like an everyday reader kind of way. But I really, really love this one. It's just so good. I love the size too. It's a bit smaller than your average tarot size, and it's just it's a good time. That is the Tarot de St. Croix. And next we've got the Stolen Child Tarot, which is one that we've had a bit of a on and off relationship, I guess you could say. I trimmed the borders off of mine completely. It is a beautiful linen cardstock. I go back and forth on repurchasing like the regular version of this deck so that I can riffle shuffle it, but I don't think I need to do that. But this, it really does feel summery. I really do want to try using this deck to explore some inner child work. I think that could really be a place it sits well for me. It's got the most gorgeous artwork. I don't really know why I don't feel pulled to use it more than I do. It could just be that I need to put it out in plain sight. That's something that happens to me quite often of like, please just put it in front of your face and it will be fine. Like, you will use it all the time. Look at that death card. I mean, there's so much to get into with these images. Gosh. I really do like this deck. And I do now have the guidebook. I printed out the PDF guidebook. I shouldn't say I did. Andy did and sent it to me. So thank you, Andy. And that's helpful. For some reason, like, reading it on a screen, just, I don't know why it was confusing me. I could do it with plenty of other decks, but that's the Stolen Child Tarot, and this is our season, baby. I just know it. We are gonna bond. Okay, we are getting down on this pile. I really hope I'm not just like totally speedrunning this right now. I might be. Apologies if this is all over the place, but we've got the Chrysalis Tarot, and hold on. Just slay on the bag, right? Right. I have to brag sometimes, you know, because it just really did that. I have been very much enjoying this deck. It is so beautiful, and with these ornate gold borders and also like the inside images, all this color going on, it just, oh my gosh, I just feel like it's so perfect for summer, and it feels like this magical exploration we get to go on. I know this is what I'm gonna use all year round, but like, look at that. That feels like such a summer image. And you know what it makes me think of? It makes me think of summer reading, but not how I experience it now where I have to be the one running it, but like summer reading as a kid when your mom would, or parent or whoever, would take you to, for me it was my mom, that's why I say that, takes you to the library to sign up for summer reading, and you get these like cool bookmarks and you get to pick out your books and you do challenges. I don't know, that's what it makes me think of, and it's just got this interesting nostalgia for me that is not involved in the actual meaning of the deck at all, but that's just where it takes me, and I love it for that so much. So much, it's so gorgeous. So that is the Chrysalis Tarot. Alright. So we have to do a mention of the Herb Crafter's Tarot. We won't spend too long on this, but of course this is gonna come out to play for summer. It's really cool for me this summer because since I have a garden of my own now, I was able to grow quite a few herbs, and so I feel like I connect to this deck even more because of that. But it's such a beautifully done deck. Ooh, I realized I've never read with this deck together with the Gaian Tarot, and I gotta try that, don't I? I definitely do. I have Bee Balm. like, looking at these cards, I'm like, OMG, I have that plant. This is what I modeled my own herb garden off of. I have such a connection to this deck, and I'm so excited. Nettle, I just collected some. Yes! Oh my god. Like, that's so neat. Gosh. Oh, this deck just gives me all the joy. I'm so excited to have this one out. That is the Herb Crafter's Tarot. I think that's going to have to be my reading tomorrow, is pairing this with the Gaian. I've never done that before. Get it together, Christo. How did you not think to do that? Goodness gracious. All right, last but not least, the Fairy Tarot. I have just been holding on to this baby, I feel like, because I knew this was going to be just my summer fairy deck, because look at all the colors. They're so beautiful. I really, really love this tarot. I think it was Don Michelle who said it's really got this like wild fae energy to it compared to some other like fairy decks. It feels a bit more in that fae category, which I really love. I love how this one goes with the Brian Froud Fairies Oracle. It's just about the only one I will break my usual weird thing I have about pairing the same categories of decks, because they really jive and feel like they fit that same world. So I really love this one. I'm excited to use it even more now that it's summer. It feels like a summer fairy deck to me. And gosh, I love this artwork. It's so neat, isn't it? I should try pairing this with the Chrysalis Tarot. That would be cool, huh? Keep an eye out, because I think I'm going to do another deck speed dating very soon, because I keep having these pairing ideas that I want to explore. So, that is the Fairy Tarot, and that is the last deck I have to show you for today. Let me know down below what you are excited to be using for this summer, if you are someone who works seasonally with your decks, or if you're on the other side of the world, what are you using for the winter? I'd love to know. I love seeing how people kind of categorize their decks and things like that. It's so interesting to me. But other than that, I hope you are all having a wonderful week, and I will see you again very soon.